Hey all, I'm Brad of Brave the Woods. Today we're gonna do an awesome product review. I have really high hopes for this since I've seen tons and tons of ads for this on Instagram and it looked super intriguing. It's called Repaper. The good folks at iskn sent it over to me to check out and review and give my honest feedback. And so that's what I'll do. And honestly, I am really excited to check it out. So the main idea before I jump right into it is that you can draw on a piece of paper on top of this tablet, like here on the back. And all you have to have is that little ring. I think I could show you on this one better. All you have to do is be able to have that little ring and put it on your pencil or your pen, and it will pick that up and you can draw analog but have it record digitally. So I'm really excited to test this out. Hopefully it'll give you enough information so that you can decide if you want to pick one up for yourself. But I have really high hopes for this. You know, the idea of building a bridge between digital and analog is kind of cool, because I know a lot of you guys like to go analog a lot more, or sometimes people are somewhat intimidated to go digital, or some of us digital folk just don't do enough analog. So let's test it out, have some fun, and see what happens. So this is Repaper, and if this packaging and box is any indicator of the quality of the product inside, I feel like we're in good shape. They're off on the right foot. This is actually a limited edition version, so this may look different if you have one of your own or looking at them. This was the Faber-Castell. No? Any of you speak, I think it's German. I think it's German. So any of you guys want to help me out on the pronunciation, please do so below in the comments. But I'm going to call it Faber-Castell, and I'm not going to say it too much because I'm embarrassed if it's wrong. But let's go ahead and open this up and see what it is. I'm not sure what to call this, if it's a... Is it a graphics tablet? It says the power of a graphic tablet, so I'm assuming that means it's not necessarily a graphic tablet. I think that means you have to see something. So maybe a drawing tablet? I don't know. It feels like it's in a category of its own. But let's open it up and see what we got. Ooh, that's a nice clean way. Little magnets to open it up. It says getting started. I like that pop of orange. Okay, this is just a little pamphlet about the collaboration with Faber-Castell. That's the last time I'm going to say it. Here's the tablet. Nice. Real thin. Super thin. It also comes with, what is this? Oh, nice. Some drawing paper. Guess you can put any paper on there. I would assume it wouldn't matter. But this is actually pretty nice. It's toothy and thick, so it'll be nice drawing paper. I wonder if they make bigger sizes. I'm going to have to look at that. If they make larger sizes for bigger sheets of paper. Oh, and then you got your user's guide, which I'll be using because I'm thoroughly confused as to what I'm getting myself into. Okay, so here's the pencil that comes with. Nice little, I already said the name, so again, it's one of those pencils. And it has this little ring on here, which I'm assuming is going to be, what do you call, I don't know, like gauging the angles and things. That's my guess. But we'll read more about that and we'll test it out. So it comes with that. And then it also comes with a stylus. Oh, nice. So it comes with its own stylus so that you can go ahead and just draw directly on the tablet without paper, is my guess. That's kind of cool. So even if you're out of paper, it's worthwhile. Got little clips, and then it comes with some power cords and a legal notice, and that's it. So I guess all I have to do now is plug this in and see what's next. Okay, so let's turn on the Repaper. And the way to do that is this little button right here. That's your power button. So if you just hold that for a couple seconds, you'll notice that there's a blue light blinking. That means it's ready to connect. I'm going to go ahead and make sure on here on the app that it's connected. Now there's two different options. There's one that says import your drawings or draw on paper on the screen, and that's what I'm going to do. But let's go ahead and just push connection first and make sure that, yep, we're going to connect it with the Repaper. Tap on connection, and immediately it's on there and it tells you how much battery you have, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to tap on draw, slip on Repaper ring, check, we got that on there. So I'm going to go do not display this message again. Do not want to see it. And then, oh yeah, little 3D little model version of of the pencil. So we have this, and then it comes with little clips. So we can use these little clips on the side. Push this little tab right here, and it holds it in there nice and tight. I'll put this one in there as well. And then push that little tab so it lays flat. There you go. Okay, so hopefully you can see me drawing on here. Darn, now I have to figure out what to draw. Let's just draw a little tree right here. Oh, weird, so the orientation's different. Oh, so how do I set the, okay. So it's at landscape. Okay, there you go. So you can change that to portrait. That's good to know. So yeah, there's a little button up there that says landscape and portrait. And so I'm assuming just that however you're holding it, however you want it to display on the screen is what you'll want there. So if we're gonna draw a tree, I'm pressing kind of hard. I'm gonna test it out in just a second and see if I have to press that hard or not. So you can see it's clear. It's a little thinner weight, so it's not copying the tip of your tool, whatever so it can be a pencil, it could be a pen. It's not really copying it. You can see on the screen, it's gonna be using a little pencil nib. So the size is a little different, like it's not matching up necessarily here on the screen is what it is here. It looks a little thinner on the screen, but I think you can change it by tapping on the pencil and then going over to the size, and you can change the weight of that. And so let's go back. Yeah, it's a little bit thicker. So I can go and I can change the size of the pencil to match whatever the size is of this. So mine's a 2B pencil, and you can tell that it's giving thicker lines now. I thought it was gonna be a little different than that. I thought it was detecting like all the little marks, just because, but you can tell this is not the fact, because if you go to, like this is a felt tip pen, you'll notice that it's drawing like a felt tip. So it's really just a drawing stylus, and you could pick whatever brush you want it to do. Let's see, I'm gonna go back to pencil, and I'm gonna test, like I'm gonna draw a little sun up here. What about shading? Can I do shading? So if I go really, really light here, yeah, it kind of picks it up. It kind of leaves gaps. I noticed that it's leaving little gaps every once in a while. It doesn't really pick it up if you're drawing really, really light. It's not super sensitive, but it's sensitive enough, I think. Especially that's why when you look at all the pictures the sample images and stuff that they have on everything, it's thicker or like harder lines, harder sketches. I think it's because it's all you can do. I don't think you can go super thin and do like some like nice shading stuff. So I guess the perk of it is being able to take this and translate it straight over to digital right away. And then in the app, you have the option to add layers. If you wanted to, you can change the color. In the individual tools listed on here, you have stroke smoothing, speed sensitivity, you have hardness, so you can set it to whatever pencil you have so it matches that. You can hide that 3D cursor if you don't want to see that the whole time, if that gets in your way. But I suspect you're not going to be really looking at the screen while you're doing it. You're supposed to just be drawing, and then it'll just translate over to the screen. That's the one thing I'm going to have an issue. I have an issue with is going back and forth between here and messing with like colors and things like that would be kind of tedious, I would assume. It'd be kind of weird because now you're drawing here, you kind of have to, I don't know, multitask and work on both. Whereas if you're just working in like Photoshop on a tablet, I would just be drawing directly on the screen or on my tablet to the screen. I wouldn't be trying to work on an analog piece and trying to deal with layers and things like that over here. Now you can also do an eraser, but I don't have any eraser on the one that they've given me here, so I'm gonna take it off of this. And they do have different size rings if you have larger tools, thicker ones, and I'm not sure how thick they can get or how big these rings can get, but they do come in, like I noticed there's like a pack of them for like 30 bucks. You have to go check it out, but here I'm gonna put it on the other end here. So it's gonna be, I feel like it's gonna be kind of tight here. Hopefully this fits on here. That'd be a pain in the butt to flip back and forth if I wanted to use the eraser option. So maybe you just don't erase, because that seems like a pain. You flip it on the other side, and then I could go to my eraser tool in the app, in the Repaper app, and then let's see if that works. Yeah, I mean, that works. It erases, but gosh, that would be super inconvenient to have to take that on and off. But I think that would be a huge hassle having to flip that back and forth. Yeah, my question is if I could have a couple of these and just pop one onto here. If I did that, then I could probably go back and forth between my pencil and my eraser. But the problem is you still have to go on the app and tell it which one you're using. It doesn't detect if it's an eraser or not. So maybe, I kind of wish that you could, like, you know, some styluses that you have, you can like flip and then it knows if it's an eraser or if you're drawing side. I'm not sure. I wish there was some functionality like that that would save you a lot of time. One really positive thing I can say about Repaper is that it really is portable, and that's something that Repaper touts, is that you can take this anywhere and sketch on the go, and there's no doubt of that. I mean, it's super thin, as you can see here. It's a really, really thin device. It doesn't weigh hardly anything. And again, you can bring whatever tools you want. So if you just got to get that little ring on there. That ring doesn't weigh anything either. Easy to pack. I mean, you could easily take that and just like throw it in a bag and take it somewhere. And the fact that it has a really, really long battery life. So this will last up to 6 hours, it says. I haven't tested that, but it says it can last up to 6 hours. And that's, I mean, I don't have any doubts about that because there's no screen sucking any power or anything like that. So there is a way to, obviously we've been connecting it to devices, but you don't have to connect it to devices. There's actually a function where this can actually remember what you drew on it. Then you can download that later in the Repaper app. All right, so there's another thing that I want to test. Repaper has said that you don't need to have this connected to any device for it still to remember the drawing. So it has, I think, 4 megabytes of memory in here, and then it also has, like, built in. But then you also have like this little micro SD that you can fit in there. So if you wanted to make it so it holds more, you can do that as well. But it would remember all the different drawings that you've done on different sheets of paper. So that's actually pretty cool. That way it remembers it. You don't have to scan it all later if you're doing a bunch of drawings on the go. You don't want to connect it to any device. You just want it to remember the drawings that you've done. That's pretty cool. So let's test that out. So right here, you'll see like there's a little blue blinking light. Let's bring it up a little closer. Blue blinking light. If you hold right over here, if you hold this little button right here, that should change. So if you hold it for a second, it should be red or pink. I think it's actually pink. So that pink button means that it's remembering everything that you're gonna be drawing now, it's gonna be remembering. So let's test that out. Little dinosaur here. And we'll see if it can remember what I just made. Make a little stegosaurus, because whenever I have the option to draw anything, it's gonna be dinosaurs. Let's see if it remembers all of this. Some spots on there. What do they have, little spiky tails? Okay, let's see if it can remember this little scene right here. So every time you press down, you'll notice that when I'm pressing here, I'll press like up here, I'll do a little sun. And I'm pressing, that green light means it's recording. So when we're done with that, you can click up or hold that and it should go back. If I hold it, let's see. Yep, and that turned it off. So now I'm gonna go test it, connect it to a device and see what happens. Okay, so I got the iPad up and running and let's make sure this is connected. So I'm gonna go back here and hold that button until it turns blue. Okay, it's blinking blue. I should be able to connect. So let's bring this up here and I'll connect it here. Repaper, connection. Now, instead of what I did on this side last time, this is just drawing directly on the paper on the screen. This one is importing your drawings. So let's do that. And let's see, looks like there's a drawing up there. It's got to download it. Let's see. There, okay, so we're done. Would you like to open your drawing? Yes. Save. All right, can you see it? Oh, maybe you can. I'll darken this up, but there it is. My Stegosaurus, it showed up. And if I had reset each time, that blinking pink, go back to blue, then go back to pink, and I can draw again. It would continue saving new, that would know that it's beginning and ending an illustration, and then you'd be able to catch it all. So nice, that's actually really cool. So it can save some sketches on there. That doesn't take a lot of space, saving those marks on here, and then that will transfer over to any digital device you want. So I could see that being really cool on the go. Well, then you have the hard copies, but then you also have a digital copy that you can upload later without having to do any scanning at all. It's just already built in the Repaper device. So that's pretty cool. The price for this setup right here is $250, which for what I would use it for seems a little high because I already have an iPad Pro and I have a drawing tablet and all these other things. So for me, I don't do a ton of analog sketching. When I do, I just scan it in. So I don't know if the price would really match with how much I would use it for, but I could totally see this being a great find for someone who is more analog and doesn't do a lot digitally, because then you could draw that stuff and it already converts that stuff, or you don't have to scan it. It's just real time putting it up digitally, and then you can export that to whatever file you want to do any further enhancements, like say Photoshop for color or whatever. But you'd have a digital file and it does that all for you, and you can work with your analog tools, which I think is a really big perk. So if you are an analog artist, maybe that $250 looks really, really good because it's not paying like $1,500 for an iPad Pro or for like a drawing tablet from Wacom. And like I said, it does have the added perk of you don't have to be drawing with a normal pencil and paper. You can remove that and it just becomes a simple drawing tablet that you can use in Photoshop with the stylus that they provide. Repaper also said that you can use this product just as a graphics tablet. You don't have to have the paper or the pencil. You can just use the stylus that they provided. And it's this little guy right here. Real lightweight, nice little stylus. And apparently this will work on Photoshop and all those other things. It'll just work as a graphics tablet. So that's what I'm really curious about, because I think you really get your money's worth if that's the option as well, because then you could use it for your analog illustrations that go digital, but you could also use it just to work in programs like Photoshop. So I like that dual functionality, and hopefully this works out real nice. So I'm going to use these little guys. I think the only way I've been able to make it work is by using the cords, connecting the cords when I'm using it as a graphics tablet. Otherwise, I can just use it, or maybe it's just the computer. I'm not sure. Then I'm going to go here to Repaper Studio, and I'm going to go on this third option that pops up. It doesn't show up on your phone or your iPad, but it does show up here. So I'm going to go to Configure, and it says you want to change this as a graphics tablet, and the answer is yes, I do. Tool not detected. So let's try setting this up again. I'm gonna push the little buttons again and see, there we go. It's connected. So if it's not working, I notice I usually have to kind of connect and reconnect, and then it reads just fine. So now I've had this, if yours wasn't turned on, I had to turn this on to switch onto graphic tablet mode. And then you wanna say you can activate as much area on your tablet as you would like. So you can activate the whole thing, or you can make it smaller. I'm not sure why you would go smaller, but I'm gonna go full, and it's showing you that it's going full screen. So now, there you go. It's technically using I have a massive screen, so it's gonna be a little weird. It does work as a stylus. So let's open up maybe Photoshop here and see how well this works. I'm just gonna start, oh, it does work on the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna start drawing right here and see, yeah. I mean, it works. It feels like there's a little bit of a lag, but maybe that's just me. There's a slight lag, but it's pretty darn accurate. So this changes things. Like, you know, that the price tag might seem a little much if you're only using it for sketching, but the fact that you can use it as a graphics tablet, I'd say is a pretty cool added bonus to this, and would be another reason why many of you might want to pick this up. I'm used to now drawing directly on the screen. I haven't used one of these types of tablets. I used to have an old Wacom that I used religiously for a while that was just the surface, you know, and then you could see it up here like this one. There's no screen, but and I got used to it. It was hard to get used to, but I got used to it. So there might be some of you that are like, I want a really cheap option. I'm just getting into digital. Then this is a fantastic option for you. For that way, it's a little Yeah, so that's nice. Okay, so it does have a little bit of a lag. I'm noticing a little bit of a lag. I'm not sure if that's just my setup with this, but I will say the one nice thing is this is textured. So a lot of the tablets that you'll get, they don't have a little textured surface. This one doesn't feel like, a lot of them they feel like they're too glossy, you're writing on glass or whatever. This has a little bit of a tooth to it, so it makes it feel like more like you're drawing on paper than a tablet. But I really like how this feels. This feels, if this texture was applied to my like Wacom, I would really like that. All right, so what are my final thoughts on Repaper? You know, it did exactly what I expected it to do, which in some ways is awesome because it really does bridge that gap between the digital and the analog world. And I know for a lot of other people, this might be a huge thing for them. Or it might just be like a step towards digital where they have that step they haven't made before. But for me, I've been doing art digitally for over 10 years now. So I'm very used to the programs that I have, the routine I have with the iPad Pro. I just like the flexibility that I can work with color and all these other things, and I don't have to toggle between, you know, I don't have to toggle between this and then using my computer or my tablet to change layers and things. I'd like it to all be in the same spot. It really slows down my process when I have to go and select like eraser and all these other things when I don't have like a hotkey or anything to do. So that really slowed me down. And for that reason, I find it kind of difficult to use for my needs. But again, if you love drawing analog, it did a fantastic job of transferring that analog drawing to your screen immediately, or you can just sit with that. Like I said, you can travel with it, bring it where you want, and don't have to have it connected to anything. And then it just remembers what you sketched. And I see that being like the coolest feature of it all. That and the fact that some people don't like to draw with styluses. They just like to draw with actual pen and paper, and the feeling. They did a good job of making that a really cool experience. But it all just kind of came down to the little things. The being able to edit and do layers and all that stuff in Repaper Studio didn't do much for me at all. I don't feel like the interface was intuitive in the fact that it was simple, but it just wasn't the action of going back and forth in the analog world to the digital world was really uncomfortable. I didn't really like that. I'd rather just draw. Like I like it just unplugged completely and just drawing on it and having it remember it. I liked that process a whole lot better than pairing it with a device. I don't think that was really beneficial for me. But at that price point, you know, that kind of doubles as a way to like record your analog drawings, but also work as a drawing tablet for like Photoshop or whatever art program you want to use. That's actually really cool, and it could be a great value to you. So for those of you analog artists out there, I hope this Repaper turns out to be an awesome tool for you, or maybe even a step towards more expensive hardware that you can use with your drawing software. So I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you so much for sticking around. Was there anything lacking in this review that you wanted to see regarding Repaper? Just let me know in the comments below. But also, if you've tried out Repaper, shoot me over some comments and tell me how you liked it, because I'm really intrigued. And you know, maybe, like I said, it may have sounded like I was a little down on it. It did exactly what it says it'll do, and I told you that I think that's a really big thing to emphasize, is that for those of you looking for what this does, it works very well. It's very intuitive, very well made. And as always, if you like this review, please give it a like. And if you want to see more reviews like this or other art videos that I'll be putting out every single week, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.